Hey guys, Phreek here, and we're playing WurmOnline. WurmOnline is a sandbox MMO. Everything in the server is player created. Every road, every cart, every house, every structure, bridge, everything is player made. When the server first starts, a GM logs in and places down a city token, and that's the capital city. From that point on, everybody logs in. Everything is player created. There are tons of mobs to fight. It's actually pretty hard to fight in the beginning until you get up in the teens. What else? There's some websites you're going to want to know about. Oh, first of all, before we get started, I'm sorry for any sniffling or coughing. I've been under the weather the past few days, and so you might hear awkward silences. If so, don't worry, that's just me hitting the mute key so I don't cough in your ear. Let's see. Registration, if you want an account, any account really, if it's premium or free. This game is free to play, actually. It runs on Java, so it's cross-platform. It can play on Linux, obviously, because I'm playing it and I run Linux. So you register for an account there. You will need a valid email address, obviously. If you want to shop for either in-game currency or pay for your premium time, if you want to become a premium character, then you would go to the WurmOnline shop. If the other thing you want to know about is the forums, and tons of info by server can be found here. A lot of merchants use this area here, and any issues or technical issues or anything like that, usually want to come in there. And last but not least is the wiki, and that's Wurmpedia. Everything, like I said, everything is built by the players in the game, and anything that you want to build, anything you want to make, any armor you want to craft, any of that can all be found in here. So this is like your number one go-to source for any information from this point forward. You will be using this website here a lot, so bookmark it. It's just wurmpedia.com. Alright, so now that that's all taken care of, let's get started doing the tutorial. Alright guys, we're back in WurmOnline now. We've just spawned into the player tutorial world. Tutorial's actually under development right now. They had a huge tutorial area set up, and yeah, we're just going to close this. And it's undergoing maintenance, so there's a lot of things that aren't covered, or it might be fixed by now, I don't know. But if it's not covered, then once we get through the tutorial, I'll go over some basic things that you'll need to know to survive. Before we get started, I'm going to pause here real quick. I'm going to rearrange my interface here because I like it to look a little bit different than how you guys see it. So I will be right back. Guys, we're back. So yeah, let's get moving. I'll go over the interface as we go along in the tutorial. Alright. So this is just basic movement, teaches you how to move and all that jazz, so I will let you read through all of these, and you really should read through all of them. This is just basically saying as you go uphill you move slower, you go downhill you move faster, and if you go downhill a lot, yeah, that's bad juju. So here we go. Alright, so this is talking about the different surfaces. As you move across certain surfaces, you'll move at a normal speed, or a faster speed, or a slower speed. Again, a lot of this stuff is blocked off, so you can't walk through any of this now, but that will change soon. And now we climb. I usually like to bind my climb button to spacebar, and we'll talk about key bindings later. Now once you get up here, make sure you turn off your climb button, otherwise you're going to continue to move slow, like this. Alright, so you want to turn that off. This is saying that as you go uphill, if you lose stamina, and we'll talk about stamina later, then you'll fall down. If you're carrying a lot, then as you move uphill, you can only climb a certain height. If you're not carrying anything at all, you can climb a lot higher. So what a lot of people do is they dump everything in their inventory, they climb up a little bit, they drop stuff in front of them up here, they'll climb up with nothing, and then they'll turn around and pick up the stuff and drop it in front of them, and then they'll keep climbing up the hill, pick up stuff behind them and drop it in front of them. And that's how they move a large amount of items uphill. Because essentially, they're still following the game rules, they're climbing with nothing. So, this is a sign just telling you, make sure you turn off climbing. All of this, by the way, is player made. I know I mentioned that in the very beginning, but yeah. Alright. This is telling you about all the buttons, interface buttons you can use. Yeah, I already did that one. Again, you guys can read through those. Alright, so it wants us to examine something. So we're going to do that. Examine that oven. Now down here at the bottom, it'll say what it is. Sometimes it will tell you who made it. It will tell you the quality of the item and the damage that that item has. Some items need to be repaired. Although it doesn't say what is this anymore. It says find on Wurmpedia. That's cool. That's a relatively new update. Alright. So we need to open up the barrel just by right-clicking on a barrel, clicking open. Then we need to right-click on the compass and say take. And now if you notice in our inventory, we have a compass. That hand mirror is to set your appearance, and once you say OK, it applies that, and that's how you will look from then on. Okay, here they want us to light a lamp, and this same thing applies for lighting a campfire, a forge, anything like that, except you need kindling to do those. With a lamp, it just needs to be filled with oil or tar. Right click on it, say light. Okay, so I did this by double clicking the flint and steel, and it says down here it's activated, flint and steel. Once it's activated, you can just right click on items and use it. And this goes for any item in the game. Say if you have a saw and you wanted to saw some planks, you would double click the saw until it's green, right click the plank and say create planks. Again, we're going to go through that later. I don't think that's covered anymore in the tutorial for some reason. Alright, around the world you'll find wells. These wells, again, they're player made. Or there's fountains or just lake water, it doesn't matter. Just right click the tile if it's a lake water, or open up the well or fountain and you can drink out of them. I don't know if you saw that go up or not, but okay. So the health, stamina, damage, water, and food. Sorry. Stamina is the green, and you can only have as much stamina as you have no damage. So as you take damage, this will get redder and redder. That means you have less stamina. Let me try this again and not be derpy. So for stamina, you can only have as much in the pool as you have no damage. That didn't really make sense. So as you acquire damage, then your stamina pool drops. So if you're climbing a mountain and you're hurt, you're not going to have as much stamina to make it to the top. Food and water. Water is really simple. You just drink water and it rises. Food, on the other hand, it changes color. The darker the color, the less nutrition you have. The greener the color, the better your nutrition is. So you want to always try and keep that as green and as filled as possible. That affects things like your stamina regen, your health regen, your experience gain. All of that stuff is controlled by how well fed you are. And speaking of being well fed, these are bartenders. So your first 24 hours of real life gameplay, you can go to a bartender and ask for refreshments. And they'll feed you some steak and cold water. And you'll notice that my food bar went up. So those are, this here, remember when I said that there's a starting town? Well, these guys are in the starting town. So that will give you 24 hours of, it can be about a week really, of gameplay in order to get some crops in the ground and start feeding yourself. Now, I'm sorry that the tutorial looks really... Alright, so everywhere around the world, this is the layer that, unlike Minecraft where you have pockets of water, water around the world is at a constant level. In Worm, you have pockets of land, and this is what it looks like. So if you're underground and you're thirsty, just dig down, you'll eventually hit water. I guess the core of the worm world is made of water instead of lava. I don't know. That's worm logic. Alright, now we already lit one fire, so it shouldn't be too hard to light another, right? Alright, so in caves, if you are falling down a mountainside and you land inside a cave, you'll take damage when you hit the side of the mountain. But when you fall inside of a cave, you're technically in a cave. You do not take fall damage in a cave. Again, worm logic. I don't know. You just don't. So, Geronimo! Yep, we took no damage from that. And look, over here. If we're thirsty, right-click the tile that has water, drink. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'm coughing my head off. Alright, so while we're in this cave, we probably want to do some... I see somebody's reset the tiles. This cave used to be much, much bigger. But we probably want to do some digging. Let's get our pickaxe and just right-click the tile and say mine. This is going to want you to do it twice. You can do up to... You can queue 2 items and have one activated and going. So you can start up to 3 actions. And then just sit back and wait. And once the timer's gone... Yep, I mined some rock shards. You guys can read through all that stuff. So while that's going on, the CA help is for anybody needing help. You can type in there, and GMs will, attempt to help you out, and other players. So that's a good tab to have open if you're a new player. Alright, so we mined our rock, and we were magically teleported to a new area. So, let's keep moving. Terraforming the world. we should have rock shards here. You notice that the path doesn't look like gravel, it's dirt here. So we should be able to use our shovel and pack this. And again, since it's packed dirt, you run faster on it than if it's regular dirt. But you could run even faster on it with it being gravel. And so this is just basically telling you how to build a road. Now you can do even better if you had bricks, and if you wanted to make a ton of bricks and make a brick road, again, you could move even faster. Alright, see how crooked this house looks? This is just telling you that, you can't build a house like this and expect to sleep in it. To be honest, this tutorial is very old. And you can't even build a house looking like that anymore. It won't let you. You can only build a house when the tile border here is flat. And we'll go over how to flatten tile borders here in a little bit. So this is just showing off how a nice house looks. Alright, so here's terraforming. This is probably the trickiest thing to get in Wurm. So you see how there is a square there? Unlike Minecraft, this is not a block. I cannot dig out this one block. I cannot dig right here in the center and expect the entire block to go up or down. Instead, I have to dig at the corners. So if I dig down here, what sign number is this? At number 4. And I examine this tile border. It's going to tell me it's 19 dirt toward me. That means if I come up to this side and I start digging 19 dirt down, then eventually these two will flatten out. Like, let's see if this is... I think this tile border here looks flat, so let's examine this. It doesn't tell me. That's unfortunate. Let me see if I can find a flat one real quick. Yeah, this. Alright, the slope is level. So, that's how this would look if I had dug that side down. Well, if I want this to be flat, then I have to come up here to this end, and I've got to dig this end down to match the level of this border here. And then I have to do the same to this corner to match, so that way all of these border tiles are nice and flat. Then and only then can I stand in the middle here and right click on it and examine it, and it will tell me whether or not the tile is flat. It's a lot of work. But once you have one flat tile, you can stand on it. Let's say this flat. Let's look here. It doesn't tell me for this one. Imagine that this said this tile is flat. Then I can stand here, and I can right click here, and I will usually get, let me see if it will actually do it for me. You get the level command. Now what the level command will do, if you have dirt in your inventory, so you usually want a pile of dirt next to you that you can put into your inventory, it will attempt to put dirt in these corners, or it will attempt to remove dirt from the opposite corners of you in order to flatten this entire tile, just like this one here. It's a way easier and quicker way instead of going around to every single corner and doing it manually. But in order to do that, you actually have to start on one flat tile. So you've got to do the work once at least. And if you guys need clarification on this later, you'll get it, because we're going to build a house, and in order to do that, we actually have to flatten down everything. So I'll show you then. And that's the timer. Alright guys, that's the 20-minute timer I've set, and that's going to be the end of episode 1. we will continue this tutorial in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Thanks.